Well, hello there, and welcome back to the very latest episode of my Love Machine podcast. Now, today we're going to be diving into the secrets of feminine energy and how embracing your femininity can help you attract the relationship that you truly desire. So, my guest today is the fantastic Lylian Toscano, a leading feminine energy coach who is passionate about helping women unlock their inner goddess and use their feminine power to create incredible connections. Lylian brings a fresh perspective to the world of dating and relationships by showing women how to relate to men in a magnetic, romantic way by tapping into their feminine essence. Through her work, Lylian helps women understand the true nature of feminine energy and how to fully embrace those energies within themselves. She'll teach you how to exude grace, sensuality, radiance, and receptivity so you can connect with a man on a heart level and build passion. So whether you're single and ready to manifest your ideal partner, or you're in a relationship and want to rekindle the spark, Lylian will show you how to become a beacon of love by unleashing your inner goddess. Get ready to transform the way you date and relate as we access your ultimate feminine power. Lylian, how are you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very, very welcome. That was quite an introduction I wrote for you there. Lots of expectations. Don't feel any pressure there, of course.
Love it.
So we had a great chat the other day and we got on really well. And we both agreed that masculine, feminine energy are very important things when it comes to dating and relationships and getting the balance right. So can you tell everyone, first of all, exactly how you got into this and then what your definition of feminine and masculine energy might be, please?
Absolutely. So how I got into coaching and feminine energy was really through my own journey of my own struggles, my my own challenges, and seeing how, after dating for so many years, not getting it right, not feeling that connection, that relationship that I wanted. And so through that, I realized that, wait a minute, and I saw other women doing it so flawlessly and the connection was so great and they were so fulfilled in their relationships, and here I was 30 years old and I'm still trying to figure things out. And so I started looking into what's going on, right? Is it me, is it them, what's happening? And I started researching, reading books, doing courses, and I stumbled upon feminine energy. And when I did, it just opened up my eyes to a whole different world that I did not know, because I was very much brought up in a masculine energy family dynamic, let's say. My mom is she was a single mother. And so she needed to be in her masculine, of course, because she had to play the two roles, right? And so that to me said, okay, this is what a woman is. This is what you're supposed to do. And this is how you relate and connect with others and with men. And so realizing that that was completely the opposite, and started using the tools, whatever I was learning, I was getting, all like good results from that. I'm like, more women need to know about this. Like, I want all women out there to know that there is a different way of having a fulfilled relationship, that it's not as hard as we think. We just make it really, really hard on us because we don't know. We just don't know.
We don't. That's such great ideas there already, which is great. I think something you touched upon there is everyone seems to think that they've got a female friend who is really good at doing this. And I hear this a lot because with my clients, they will say that they are absolutely terrible. They're going to a bar and they can't get in touch with their feminine energy. But there is one particular friend who everyone is falling in love with all the time. And they seem to have it easy. So what does she have that everyone else lacks?
Yes. So let's talk about the difference of masculine and feminine energy so then we can get a better understanding of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the masculine is, it's an energy, both energies, we have it both in men and women, right? So it's in all of us. But when it comes to relationships, it is very important to be in your feminine if you want to be attracting a masculine energy man. So the masculine is the doer, is the planner, the one that gets the results, the one that has a strategy. He's he or she is very much in the mind, and so you can see and feel the results. Now the feminine is really hard for a lot of people to truly understand it, because I don't think it's meant to be understood with our mind. It's meant to be felt, you know? Feminine energy is felt. It's never, you can't see it, or you can see it in some way, but you can never understand it with your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the playful part of us, it's the sensual part of us, is the fun, the softness, the warmth. So as you hear all those things, you're like, yeah, you can't like get a grasp on it. You just feel it from someone, right? Someone who's playful, someone who's sensual, someone who's fun. You feel it from them. And so that's the difference. And this is why some women are able to attract so easily these men, because she is a magnet. She's the opposite of what a masculine energy wants. So she polarizes them. She attracts them easily that way by being in her more playful, more fun, more sensual part of herself. And that is why a lot of us have struggled with this.
Is that because people are more used to being in their masculine? Is that why?
Absolutely, yes. Like a lot of us, like it's in society, right? Like that's very you are your accomplishments, what you do in life, everything is sort of seen as like the results that you get are things that you are very, people are proud of you for those things. But when it comes to more of the playfulness, like who's gonna give you an award for being playful, right? or fun. And so those things are not are seen as less than. And so this is why we become so much in our masculine, because society overall, like, I mean, it takes you need your masculine energy to get stuff done at work. You need your masculine energy to take care of yourself. But you also have to understand that you also need your feminine energy for all of these things in your work and taking care of yourself and being in a relationship, most importantly, because that is how you can connect in a deeper level with a man.
You touched upon playfulness there, and that is something I teach all my clients, male or female, because playfulness is an important part of connecting with somebody. It is the way that we bond, the way that we have fun. It's the way that it's a good way of flirting. But some people just don't know how to be playful. So, and I teach them to do this. But I'd like to know, do you have any tips on being more playful in life?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually had a client the other day and we were playing around. I do a lot of role playing with my clients.
Okay.
And so I get them to do different silly out of, the box type of thing with me. And so they loosen up. So what I got her to do was say, to herself, I'm a silly girl. I'm a goofy girl. And as she was saying these things, her brain started thinking differently and she started becoming more playful herself. Like you could see it in her face, you could see her in her body language. And she also said, her energy just shifted from what she was thinking, that she had to be this like serious girl. She's a chemist or some sort. And so it's her profession and everything that she does, she has to be in this more of the masculine. And so she's having a hard time connecting with this playfulness side of her. But once you connect to it, you're going to see that you're going to have so much more fun with it. But it doesn't come natural to a lot of us because we're just not used to it. That's all, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find it easy personally, but with my clients, they do struggle with it all the time. It's being vulnerable as well. That's a difficult thing to be, because to be playful, you have to be vulnerable. You have to not be afraid to let yourself go and be true to who you are. And these are all things I teach people. But I think playfulness is so important. And that's why I say, if you're going to be playful on the first date, don't go somewhere boring or dull. Do something fun. Then you get more chance of being playful. You can't really be playful and sit down dinner that's too dark and dingy and you're stuck with somebody. Be playful in life. And it's the energy. But people really do struggle with it, as we said before. And it is a massive problem because women, and rightly so, feel that maybe they're dumbing themselves down to please a man by portraying all this masculine energy, being softer, being lighter, batting their eyelashes at people. And of course, I have my own arguments towards and against this. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of clients that come to me and say, like, look, I do love this feminine energy, but I don't want to dumb myself down. Yeah. And what I say to them is, you're actually becoming more of yourself. It's not about pleasing the other person, but it's about pleasing yourself and connecting with yourself deeper. And that is the journey. And really, that's the outcome that I feel a lot of my programs and the coaching that I do with my clients. That's what happens, right? It's the woman that they become. They become more themselves. They become more playful, someone who's fun to be around. Like, who doesn't want to be around that fun friend, who's doesn't take life so seriously all the time, right? And that is what everybody out there, men and women, are looking for, like you said. And but especially women who, who are so much in their masculine, it's so important for us to really see that playfulness. And like you said, with the first date, I actually went bike riding with my husband on our first date. And we had a
Nice.
donaire. We had a donaire by the beach. So it's very different from the usual coffee date or dinner date. And it did make it more playful, more fun. We were able to just loosen up a little bit more. So yeah, doing those fun dates it's a lot of fun for us. Yeah.
It definitely can make a big difference. Now, I also believe that step into your feminine energy. Of course, there's a guy saying that, it sounds ridiculous, but I do teach people this for a living as well. So it's fair enough to say this. As someone stepping into their feminine energy, I think the way that you hold yourself, if you wear something you feel attractive in and present yourself, is very, very important as well. But something quite controversial is some women say to me that they don't like wearing makeup, for example. But I think that can enhance quite often your beauty, how you are, and your feminine energy. What do you think about that? I'd like to ask your opinion on that. Is it
Yeah,
important or is it
absolutely.
okay? Yeah.
Yeah, I actually I feel that it's to an extreme. Like, if you're gonna be putting on another mask, like I call it your second mask, then absolutely not. Like, don't,
Yeah.
you want to be authentic, you want to be authentically you.
Mm-hmm.
But enhancing your beauty, taking care of you, and honestly, just like by taking care of yourself, putting on a little bit of makeup, doing your hair, wearing something that you feel good in, just makes you feel even better,
Yeah.
right? And so I find that it is very important for us to take care of us. And that's one way of maybe putting a little bit of makeup to, enhance our beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? That's going to make us feel so much better, so much more attractive to the opposite sex, if what we want is to attract, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if what you don't want is to attract a man, then you don't have to do any of those things.
Of course. Everyone's perfectly entitled to do what they want. I would never tell a woman to wear makeup or to wear high heels, whatever they want to do. I think do what you feel attractive in. But for the sake of this, I think using everything you've got, every power you've got is useful. So having a nice perfume. Of course, to tell a man this as well, have a nice aftershave. I think perfume can conjure up nice sensual feelings and make you be more feminine. Likewise, the very drink that you're holding can command a different level of respect or the way people perceive you. People perceive you. So, for example, as a man, if you're drinking a pint of beer, then people will think, well, you're a certain type of person. If you drink a glass of wine, maybe more sophisticated. If you're drinking a glass of champagne, even more sophisticated, it levels you up. So I think women that I see sometimes drinking pints of beer, that's fine with your friends, but drink something that makes you more feminine and a nice, soft, thin stem of a glass. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. You know what? Subconsciously, this is what I've done. So when I go with my husband, sometimes I do have like a beer, but when I go
Yeah.
with my friends, it's always wine. With the girls, it's always wine. And I
Yeah.
think that does say something about you,
Mm.
as to your softness. And yes, the type of woman, if you want to be seen as high value, that's what you have to showcase, your high value. And wine sort of says that, doesn't it?
It
And
does.
the way you dress and your makeup and your hair, all of everything that you portray will show the type of woman that you are and will attract a certain type of man. So really, check, like, who am I attracting? Who do I want to attract? What type of man do I want in my life? And if it's a certain type of man, then look at who they would be attracted to and start acting apart, right?
What's interesting, well, I think some people will be thinking, well, women can do what they want and wear what they want. Absolutely true. But this episode today of the podcast is about embracing your feminine energy. So I imagine anyone listening to this will be someone that wants to do that. So, of course, that's all absolutely fine. There are two sides to everything. Do what you want, be who you want. But people listening to this will be purely focusing on embracing their feminine energy. Now, of course, there'll be men listening to this as well. And how does somebody embrace their masculine energy?
Well, with masculine energy, if it's a woman, I feel like if it's a woman who wants to be in her masculine, it would be more of the one that's like a go-getter, the one who, kind of chases, right? If you want a more feminine energy man. And you can absolutely do that. And I feel like a lot of times in the feminine energy world, we kind of want to push that away. But there are a lot of wonderful women who want to be in their masculine energy. And that's wonderful. You can have a fulfilling relationship that way
Yeah.
with a more feminine energy man,
Okay.
right?
What about a man who wants to be more in his masculine energy?
Yeah, for a man, it just depends on what he's doing. I mean, I feel like it's more about the dynamic of, the men. Like for my husband, I feel like he's very much in his masculine, and he steps into that energy when he takes the lead.
Yeah.
Right? That's the lead. That's very masculine when a man takes the lead. I love that when my husband can take the lead. And I, as the feminine energy woman, allow him to do that. So I don't take over and try to control the situation or him or anything. I allow him to do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it really takes the two to tango, right? For you as the man to take the lead and say, hey, I'm in charge and I'll lead the way and I'm going to take care of you. That's the other thing. Like there's a lot of for the masculine, I feel being kind of like the caretaker, the one who supports the wife, the one who is really there to protect her. That's I feel like that's such a turn on. And I'm even feeling right now in my energy of like, ooh, a man who is like protecting me. Wow.
That's important. I think you talk about that man taking a lead, this is important, but everyone, of course, can be at certain times in their feminine or in their masculine, different times. Even my wife's a very feminine woman, but sometimes she could be in her masculine if she needs to be, of course. But I met my brother today and we had a coffee, as we do once every week or so, which is great. And we both realized that while our wives are very talkative and chatty and social and very feminine, when it comes to going to a restaurant, for example, it turns out they both want us to order for them. Who would order for you in a restaurant? Would you order yourself or would your husband order?
My husband normally orders my food. I tell him what I want and then
Yeah.
he orders it for
Why
me.
is that? Why is that? We were trying to work this one out. Is it because they want the man to take control? What's it about?
Yes, a lot of these things, it just feels so good to us to take the back seat and allow our men to do it for us. There's a lot of things that I just allow my husband, like even when we're going on, like if we go out for dinner, he's the one who pays all the time. Even if later on I say like, I can, pay for half or pay for some or whatever, but I allow him to do that. It just feels good to me for him to take care of our finances, for him to take care of all those things. I don't want to be pulling out my credit card. I don't want to do any of those things. I want him to do it. And it feels so good as a woman to just take the back seat.
Do you think that the man should always pay on a first date? That's the big question.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't have to be fancy. It can be just a coffee. It can be a hot dog down the street in New York if that's where you live. But absolutely. Yes, because it sets the stage. It sets the stage for the man to be in his masculine, right? And for the dynamic to start off that way, if this is what you desire. So if you're a feminine energy woman or a woman who wants to be in her feminine energy, you absolutely allow this man to take care of you in those ways. Even if it's something small, right? And the place or the thing that he buys does not matter, right? Some women take it as, oh, this means, something about me, that he's taking me here. But it's not. Wherever he takes you, allow him to take care of you.
I absolutely agree with you. It's not about spending loads of money. It's about him showing you, because I always say this on the podcast, but women take a long time to get ready normally for a first date. Choosing the outfit, getting the hair done. I've got one client gets her hair done every single time she goes on a date. Hundreds of pounds every single time. It's a bit extreme, but she can afford it. And so women like to do that and take a time. Men might have a shave, maybe a shower if you're lucky, put on a shirt. I think it's the fact you've asked them out in the first place as a man, and therefore you're valuing their time and you're making them feel protected and feel special. Ultimately, on several dates later, a woman can pay and do something nice for them. It's a two-way street in a relationship. But for a first date, it's really important the man takes control. However, having said that, I've noticed that some women out there don't want to be seen as maybe being passive or being weak. And they will like to dictate where the first venue might be or where it's going to be. But then just as many women will say, well, I want the man to take control. What can someone do if they are not used to doing this and being in your feminine energy? What if they feel that they're going to be weak by doing that? how can they take a step back and allow the man to really take control?
Yeah, so like I said before, where he takes you, the
Yeah.
first couple dates,
Mhm.
like that means nothing about you. And I think
Yeah.
that's the problem, that we make it mean something like, oh, he's taking me to a fancy place, so therefore, he thinks of me this way. Or he's taking me to a really cheap place, so therefore he thinks of
Yeah.
me that way. And it may just be that it's just convenience, right? That the man is like, oh, this is convenient, or maybe that's the only place he can think of, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that if it's convenient to you, this is one thing that I tell my clients always, like it has to be convenient to you. It has to be a place that's obviously close to you,
Mhm.
in a place that like an area that public, of course, because if you're doing online dating, you don't know this man. So it's good to be, in a public place. And the first few dates, I would encourage everyone out there to just allow the men to kind of pick the place if it is convenient to you. And it means nothing about you, the place that he's choosing. It's probably just convenience, right? So don't make it mean that you're weak or that you're submissive or any of those things. Change the narrative, change the story, empower yourself by changing the narrative as to, okay, so do I feel good about this place? Right? That would be like the better question to ask, instead of like, oh, this makes me look weak, so I'm gonna just, not accept that.
I definitely agree with you. But let the man take control, take you somewhere nice. And you mentioned something else very quickly there, is that the man should come to you at least most of the way. I had a client yesterday said, well, she's going to drive 60 miles to go and meet somebody in his hometown. I thought, why? Why are you doing that? You're giving him all the power by doing this. The man should show that he's serious. At least if there's some really serious reason, like a medical reason, or he's just really busy, then fair enough. But generally, I believe the man should make the effort and come to the woman, because it's a lot easier, and because woman takes more time to get ready, quite simply. But that is an important thing. People don't always think about that in any great detail. But something else I wanted to ask you as well. Now, you might not know the answer to this question, so if you don't worry about it. We'll move on. Online dating and dating apps in particular, it's all about the profiles and how you portray yourself. Is there a way, any tips you have on women portraying their feminine energy more in these photographs and profiles?
Ooh, that's a great question. I actually do help my clients with this.
Good,
And
good.
yeah, so I'll share some tips here that I've
Yeah.
taught my clients. So I feel that men are very visual. So you definitely want to have, very beautiful pictures that will portray yourself. One of the biggest things that I find is that women put like really old pictures or blurry pictures, and they don't take the effort to really enhance and make this your profile the best that I can. Because you have to see this as a brand. You're selling yourself in some way, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. So when you go to McDonald's, you don't see the actual burger that you
No,
get,
no.
right?
Yeah.
It's enhancing, it looks beautiful, and it attracts you. And same thing here. It doesn't mean that you're gonna, what is that word?
Catfish.
The catfish. Yes, you're not gonna catfish anybody, but you do want to put your best effort into having beautiful pictures. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
can even hire a photographer. I've had some of my clients do that, where they hire a photographer. It doesn't have to be that expensive. You can find someone that can do like a 30-minute session.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to make sure that you're wearing, a beautiful dress. Men love dresses. They love to see a woman in a dress. Make sure that you're wearing a dress there, so that will show your femininity.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other feminine energy type of activities that you enjoy? Like maybe sitting down on the couch and reading a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gardening, like baking, anything that will showcase, your feminine side. You can showcase that. You can take pictures. You can ask a friend as well to take pictures of you, right? You don't even have to go to a photographer. You can get someone who, is willing to take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to your bio, make sure that you're not making a list of all the things that you want. Like I've seen like a list of, like it's like a list of groceries, and it's not inspiring or
No.
attractive. So make sure that when you write your bio, it's about how you feel and what you want in that relationship. So how does it feel to be in this ideal relationship that you want? Or how does it feel to be with this ideal man that you want?
Mm-hmm.
There's all about your, feminine energy is all about feelings, right? So you showcase it with that. And you'll see that a lot of men will step up with that because now they're like, ooh, I can see myself in what she's saying. I can see myself in that image of hers. I can see myself even sitting down beside her in that picture.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with all that, everything you said there. I teach people the same sort of things. I don't always mention to wear a dress because it's over here in the UK. It's often very cold and chilly. But I'm going to add that information into my advice now. I think a dress is absolutely perfect, or a cocktail dress, something that you look attractive in, that you not in, at a wedding, not out with your friends, just looking nice. That's a really good bit of advice. I do work with a photographer a lot, and I'm going to name drop them now. I thought, why not? If anyone's listening, there's a great company I use for all my clients. They are based in the UK, but they also do cover some areas of the US as well. And they're called Hey Saturday. And the website is heysaturday.co. If you want to book a session on there, you can use the discount code, which is my name, James Preece, in one word, and you'll get a discount. I get no commission on that. I'm just saying that because it's so effective to have good pictures that people need to be encouraged to do this more. If that little shout out helps, then wonderful. I think it's important. Good pictures make a massive, massive difference overall. Excellent. So the next question I want to ask you, which came to mind, is quite simply about flirting. How can you flirt in a very feminine way?
Yes, this is a big one. And this is a big challenge for a lot of us, I think, flirting in general. Um, because it's an art that has been lost,
Mm.
and I feel like we can flirt no matter what. Even if you're married, you can still flirt with other men. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you're gonna go to bed with them or do anything else, but it is a beautiful thing to have because you still want to feel desired,
Yeah.
right? So this is all about feeling desired and also showing that to another
Mhm.
person is, feels good, right? I
Yeah.
feel like the first thing you want to focus on is eye contact, when it comes to flirting. I think eye contact is very important.
Mhm.
And this is something that we don't do often, we go for
Yeah.
walks or we see people and we barely like, we can't even like look up, right?
Yeah.
Or we're so into our technology, so connected to our technology that we're not even focusing on what's surrounding us. And that is something that you must do as a single woman if you're looking out to, attract men in real life. Make sure that you're connected to the world, not your computer, not your phone, not your earbuds, right? And also the second thing that I'll say about this is a smile. Oh my gosh, like a smile is it's so attractive, it's so magnetic. You have the eye contact, you smile at someone, you smile at a stranger, you will see that you will be attracting more men your way, because it's a connection. That's what flirting is. It's a connection, and it's a beautiful connection that you can have with the men around you, right? So I would say practice. That is something that I know that it can be hard for a lot of us. So practice as much as possible, doing a few seconds of eye contact, smiling, and then, looking away. Don't stare, right?
No, don't stare.
Or else it's gonna come off a little weird, but
Yeah.
but practice, even practice with your friends. I mean, practice with friends, practice with a family, anyone around you. Just practice and see. I mean, I used to practice even in the elevator. I was
Ah.
not, yeah, I had a hard time smiling or making eye contact. So I would just do it in the elevator. I would see people and I would just like women, men, it didn't matter. Even I even met this older man that was the sweetest thing. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is so nice to be able to have that connection with everyone. And yeah, it's really important to do that, to just practice. Yeah.
I recommend if you're nervous about it and you want practice, then I recommend going to a speed dating event because then you're going to meet 25, 30 people. You're not going to see again if you don't want to, but you've got 3 minutes or 4 minutes with each one to practice flirting, practice the eye contact. And of course, you're not going to be attracted to the majority of them anyway. So it's all a good way of doing this. And then you can really, by the end of 25, 30 people, you'll be so good at this. It'll become normal, it'll become a habit. I think eye contact and smiling are so important. Anywhere, you're right, people look down, look at their phones walking along, and they avoid the eye contact. But getting yourself in a situation. And something else I want to add to this as well that I was thinking when you were saying that is I talked before about both talked about wearing a nice dress and having makeup. This is the women, of course, not the guys. The women looking nice in these outfits. If you are going out in the high street, going shopping, going about your daily life, if you know that you look at your top form and you look your best, you're going to feel sexier, you're going to feel more feminine anyway. And if you smile at somebody, then do you know what? You never know who might smile back, and you can make the opportunities everywhere you go. So even if you're a bit nervous, dress yourself up, go out for a nice walk, go into the high street. You never know what's going to happen. Make your own magic. That's what I would say to that. Any thoughts on that? Do you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like use all this, like your normal routine as a
Yeah,
way of, attracting men wherever you go. I mean, you can
yeah,
go grocery shopping and, you could, yeah, wear something that you feel good in
yeah.
and you'll be attracting men. I mean, I had a man actually run after me once. He was in a restaurant and I was just walking by to meet my sister for coffee. And I guess we happened to look at each other and I smiled and it was innocent on my part. And I just kept walking. The man came after me. He kept running and he's like, hey, like, there's something about you. And are you single? Can I take you out on a date? And I had that multiple times. So
Wow. Yeah,
if it's happened to me, it can happen to you. So practice doing that, connecting,
yeah.
because yes, everywhere you go you can meet men. There is no one place that men are everywhere.
Mhm.
Men are everywhere, or women too, right? Women are everywhere. So if you are a man, do that as well. I mean, I felt like these men are really taking the lead. They're being proactive in their
Yeah,
search. So if you're a man, make eye contact, smile, and then go after her and ask her for her number, ask her for a date.
yeah. I would start with a hello, first of all.
Yes.
Hi, what's your number? What? How? Somebody might say yes. You never know. I don't understand what you're saying. Warm them up first to the conversation.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Everyone in life would love to be approached by somebody, even if it's the wrong sort of person they're not attracted to. Even if you're married in a relationship, being approached by someone can make your day if you pay you a compliment. When I've had it, if I dress up well when I go out, people will talk to me, which is wonderful, and tell me nice things. If I go out in a hoodie, my hoodie up, as I've got on now, it's winter. It's coming on the way. So it's difficult. You're not going to be attracting people. Of course, I'm not going out of my way to attract people because I'm happily married. But I have found if I dress up and look good and feel the part, people will be attracted to that. And that's my advice to anybody. Make your own luck, like I said, dress up. If you've got anywhere to go, any events, anything you want to do, going to the gym, dress nicely and smile at people, say hello, say good morning, because most people don't. You're blasting away 95% of your competition by just going up to someone and saying hi. What's the worst that's going to happen? Go out there. Men, women too. I believe women just say hello to people and smile. Let the man know it's okay to then sort of talk to you. That's an important thing. Maybe look across the room, give them the eye, smile at them in a nice, coy, feminine way, of course. And you never know what's going to happen. But we're coming towards the end of the podcast already. I don't know where the time has gone here. It's flown by. I want to ask you a question that I ask everyone, every expert I get on the podcast. Do you have any sort of daily routines or anything that you do that you like to stick to?
Yeah, so one of my morning routines that I absolutely love is meditation.
Uh-huh.
I love meditating. I think it really connects you to your higher self. I feel like the feminine energy has a lot to do with spiritual, right? The spiritual side of you. And I feel like it's very important for us to connect to that. And so I recommend it to everybody. It's different things that you can get from that. If you want to get more in tune with your intuition, perfect way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Great advice. It's amazing how many experts meditate. And I try it sometimes and it's a chore, but I like to do it sometimes. It's important. I just wonder, I'm not doubting you at all, but I wonder how many people really do meditate every day. Because everyone tells me they meditate and they journal and they're all wonderful. It just fascinates me. I believe you, though. I believe you. But I need to
Yeah,
make
and
more
you know
time.
what? I want
Yeah.
to say something about this with meditation.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us believe that meditation is the one where you sit down
Yeah.
and you just like in silent and you just like do that, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about in meditation, it doesn't necessarily have to be the sit down thing. I do a lot of like feminine meditation, which is more of movement meditation. So
Okay.
I move my body with music. So there's different meditations, and your audience can like even do this,
Yeah.
where it really connects you to your sensuality, to your playfulness, and
Mhm.
all of those parts. And it's really important. And it's not as what you would do like the meditation of sitting down because that can be boring too.
It can. Do you know what? when I start doing my video version of the podcast, I'm going to get you back on there and we're going to discuss that. And you can show what you mean by moving around and doing that. I don't expect you to get up and dance, but just show me some waving. It just fascinates me because these aren't things that I normally do. Of course, I dance and I sing all the time, but I think that's a fun thing to do. I think being playful, being fun, and getting in touch with yourself, whatever way you do that, however you meditate, however you live your life, is very, very important. But one last question for you, because this could be a long podcast. I could talk to you for a long time. If someone wants to find out more about you and what you do, how do they do that?
Yes. So if you want to connect with me, you can go to either my website, which is just lyliantoscano.com, or you can find me on all social media pretty much at Lylian Toscano. So it's really easy to find me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will put those links in the show notes, of course, as always, so you can check you out. Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. Such a useful, fun conversation to have. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. I know we'll talk again. I will get you back for my video podcast. So thank you very much.
You so much.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. I'd love to give you a free copy of my latest book, which you can download right now from my website, jamespreece.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, I'd really appreciate it if you could share the love by taking a few seconds to write a positive review on the iTunes store right now. See you next time.